So we talking about Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
Man, he got the bag.
Hey, honestly, I don't even blame him.
I don't blame him either.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. You know, it's like 1 minute you want to leave Cleveland.
Yeah.
Next minute, I mean, hey, if they offering you $40 million per year, that is actually hard to pass up on.
Come on now.
Now the question is what they gonna do in the draft.
True.
That's the thing, because I was like, me personally, Myles Garrett got his bag.
Yep.
Now he's secure. So are y'all gonna build around him?
Right.
Are y'all gonna get that young bull out of Penn State?
Big time.
Abdul Carter.
Okay.
You know, it seems like at this point it would, I don't know, I feel like it makes sense to compliment him to assure his happiness
Big
there.
time. Big time. Especially since you made that big investment. For a while, too. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's not a short-term contract.
Yep.
Why not? I think maybe it was a conversation about the future outlook of the team and some of the plans and intentions that might have helped persuade sticking around a little bit.
Yeah.
Because if a team is trying to rebuild, you're thinking that's going to take a few years before we actually win. But if you start looking at Cleveland, I think they're one of the sleeper teams. I think they're only really, I want to say missing, I think they're only really missing a quarterback. Because honestly, if I'm Cleveland, I think I bring Jameis Winston back as a security blanket.
Okay.
Because even though Jameis Winston has a big downside, he can still throw touchdowns. He can still activate your offense. He can show you what you're capable of. And I think Jameis, when he did get in and some of the contenders that they were able to compete with and actually beat, I think he showed that they have something in Cleveland. They just need the right fit. They're missing another puzzle piece. And I think if Myles Garrett stuck around to see what that puzzle piece is going to be, I think they're going to be all right.
I feel that. So, we talking about them getting a quarterback.
Yep.
Jameis Winston being the security. Here's my question.
Yeah.
Do they go get a quarterback in the draft still? Maybe not first round.
Yeah.
But do they go get a quarterback in the draft still?
I do.
Okay.
I do. Because who else do you have? You let the young quarterback you had in DTR, I think his name, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, you let him go. So you have really no depth. I think you keep Jameis as a veteran and as a guy in a league right now where quarterbacks get injured so frequently.
Yeah.
You need a guy who can come 5-6 games. I think a lot of teams need to look at that a little more now. You need a good starting quarterback, and you also need a guy who can come win 5-6 games. Because they're looking at backups like, oh, we just need you not to go over. But quarterbacks are getting hurt a lot often now. And if they're not hurt, they probably should be resting. But they're playing through it.
Yeah.
So why not invest like Atlanta in two good quarterbacks? You got your youth, you got your vet. If you happen to get an injury, you got insurance.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
I was thinking about I think they did end up getting Kenny Pickett.
Who?
Cleveland.
Did they?
I think they did.
Somebody else said that.
I think that was recent.
Really?
Yeah, I think that was recent. So
Wow.
I was thinking, I wonder how that's going to be, because I saw an interview where Kenny Pickett was like, they asked Kenny Pickett, do you still feel like you're a starting quarterback in this league?
Oh, Kenny Pickett. I always mix him up with Pickens.
Oh, yeah.
I did get Pickett, yeah.
And I was thinking, well,
My bad.
that probably just means they may try to give him a chance to play. Like literally actually become the starter.
I mean, give him a shot. I think he's shown enough to give him a shot.
Yeah, because I was just looking, I said, well, if they end up doing that, that may be good for Cleveland's defense.
Yeah.
I think about, hey, maybe y'all could go ahead and get you a dog in the first round. Hey, maybe even if you actually want to do it, Myles Garrett signed that $40 million per year contract. I think it was like, I forgot how much it was, but highest paid player.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't you get a Travis Hunter? At least you know if you roll the dice there, you can have a quarterback or you have a security blanket at wide receiver for Kenny Pickett or whoever they decide to bring in there at quarterback to play both sides of the ball.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I was just about to say, well, what do you do? What do you do with? Yeah, did you trust Pickett?
Yeah.
If you drafted Travis, which I think is a good choice, I think though they might be in the same position they were before.
Okay.
I think they're going to be a team with a lot of talent and not really a maestro to know how to get all of that grooving.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
No, that makes sense.
But I think if Kenny Pickett looks like the Kenny Pickett we saw, I think you surround him with them weapons. You got Brock Purdy on your hands.
Yeah.
You know, if Kenny Pickett could be Brock Purdy, shoot, Cleveland might wake up, especially with a Travis Hunter. That's a great point. That's a great point.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
But that's all they need him to do, really, is to be Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
You know, Pickett doesn't have to be Mahomes.
And that's the thing with Cleveland. Like, they actually have a lot of talent around them.
For real.
They got great skill players.
Yep.
They actually overall have a great defensive front, secondary.
Yep.
You're right. Their missing piece is that quarterback position.
Yeah. My bad.
Oh yeah, you're good.
What about DK the Seahawks?
Oh man, means to the Steelers.
To the Steelers.
Oh man,
How you feel
they're
about it?
kind of in an interesting situation too.
What's that?
Shout out to DK getting his money, being able to team up with George Pickens, being on the other side, having a great coach in Tomlin. But they're gonna have to get him a quarterback out there too.
They're going to have to.
But I tell you one thing, whoever they get at quarterback is gonna have a hell of a receiver to throw to. Straight dog. Also thinking about also that's another thing I like about the Steelers. They'll air it out. They're not afraid to air it out. That's why I say my old Big Ben. He's talking about, hey, you got George Pickens and you got DK Metcalf on the same team. Hey, I may have a few throws left because he already knows.
Yeah.
They're gonna air it out, dog.
But that's the thing. He said, I know I would.
No, for real.
You got DK Metcalf and George Pickens. I'm letting it fly.
Yeah, because either way, having him and George Pickens, I mean, that's like having
Who's your quarterback?
yeah, that's like having two Megatrons on your squad.
You bring Aaron Rodgers in as a QB? Or you let Russ go?
You know what?
Russ shopping around.
I'll tell you one thing. Aaron Rodgers touching the ball is so second to none.
Yeah.
To have those type of receivers, you know he's going to do back shoulder fades so smoothly. My only question is this.
So open it up.
There's a couple of things they're going to need.
Okay.
They're going to need a run game.
Yep. They let go of Najee.
They let go of Najee.
They got Warren.
They got Warren. But they may need to go target your boy Cam Scatterboo.
I like Scatterboo. We talk a lot about Scatterboo.
I like him because he kind of has a Najee Harris style run.
He's got like Kareem Hunt-ish. Marshawn Lynch, you got that dog in him, yeah.
Right? And I'm also looking at he can literally keep you on the clock when it comes to the offense. When it comes to the offense, literally being able to just stay on the field. And so time of possession is going to be a big deal. So you need a time of possession style running back.
Yeah.
So what is that for? That's for Aaron Rodgers. Because Aaron Rodgers is quick to always do play actions, which is extremely important for him to be able to have time to throw it to a DK Metcalf, to a George Pickens.
100%.
You got to have that. And so that's what I'm looking at. If DK gets that, if he gets an Aaron Rodgers in there, that can help out. Now, only thing is, I don't really know too much about the Steelers' offensive line, how they are. But I'm sure that they can make some moves in the draft and try to make something shake. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you bring him in, that'd be good. I think Russ, well, now since your boy Justin Fields is gone, they may have to consider possibilities of keeping Russ now. You know, if you have a DK, even though he got his money, it's probably 9 times out of 10, hey, trying to win too. Now, we already know the Steelers, 9 times out of 10, Mike Tomlin gonna give you an 8-8 season. At least.
At least.
At least an 8-8 season. So what I'm looking at is,
grit.
you know what I mean? So I'm looking at if they can get a style of an Aaron Rodgers, like you said, up in there, and they actually can get a run game to at least give him time. I mean, shoot, he can't mess around and have 1,500 yards receiving with Aaron Rodgers.
Come on. Woo! My bad.
But yeah, he messed around and had like 1,500 yards receiving.
Hell yeah. I'm trying to put that on.
Yeah, that could be very explosive.
Heck yeah. What about Geno to the Raiders?
Oh man. Well, that's he got his head coach there too with Pete Carroll, which is like the same thing in Seattle. Honestly, it should be very, very comfortable.
I think so.
He had a good season. I think Seattle won like 10 games.
Yeah.
Oakland, I keep wanting to say Oakland.
Yeah.
Vegas, they seem like they have they got a good roster themselves. I mean, obviously the record doesn't really speak for it, but I think he can give them about 10, 11 games as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think Geno's going to be all right. I think what makes it better for him is the fact that he has his coach there that he had in Seattle and Pete Carroll.
I think that's a big deal. I think Geno is getting better with time. He's like wine. He's one of those guys that what's going on? He's one of those guys that maturity is doing well for his game. Maturity is doing really well. It's like year after year he's getting better and better and better. And you know, we're kind of looking at him. He looks like a smooth operator out there. So if they can harness that and he can take another step forward, I think they can be all right in Las Vegas. I don't know what kind of weapons they got around them. I know you got Myers, Jacoby out there. You got Trey Tucker. Outside of that, I don't know if it's a lot of guys that will be able to take pressure off of him. But we'll see. Even at the running back, they got some good guys. But I don't know if it's anybody that you can just hand the rock to and just get out of the way. But we'll see. So maybe that's just, you know, I think it's a strong piece for the offense. I think now they need to add either another dynamic factor to the defense to help, right? Because if the offense is not going to be dynamic, the defense has to be dynamic if you want to contend. One has to be dynamic, right? But if both are kind of so-so, then you need to be looking for the next year. So maybe they're looking at first year. Let's get a couple new bricks in. Come back the next season. Build on that. I think next year, we're talking about Las Vegas. Unless they make a big splash in the offseason. But Geno's a good move.
What they have number 6 pick in the draft?
Maybe. What you get?
Ashton Genty.
Woo-hoo! You talking.
Why not?
You talking.
I think he'll still be at number 6. And that's going to be the most smoothest thing for them because they know they can feed him the ball, man. You can feed him the ball all day. Now that's a good pick. A recipe for championship football?
That's a good pick.
Solid running back, solid throwing game. Obviously, you got to have a solid offensive line, but a player like him, low center of gravity, can observe.
Yeah.
A lot of hits, nice and smooth with it. It's susceptible of breaking a long run like a Saquon Barkley.
Yep.
He can afford to have a above average offensive line and still be just as effective.
I think so. What about Devontae to the Rams?
Man, that's letting me know right there. When Devontae going there,
Yeah.
first off, that's a good pick for him because he's with an experienced quarterback. Also, let me know Matthew Stafford ain't going anywhere.
Man, Stafford made that thing out.
He is.
Now we're going to get them touches.
Yeah, and so I'm looking at, yeah, granted they don't have Cooper Kupp there no more.
Yeah.
But with Devontae being there, more experience, obviously had a great season, healthy. It's his time.
I think so.
I think, Coach McVay and them boys, they're going to try to make it happen for him.
You know, he kind of got displaced after Aaron. He kind of got displaced after Aaron. Because he went to Vegas, wanted to couple himself with Derek Carr. He might have had a little more success staying at Green Bay with young Love. Kind of, you know, hindsight 2020. Love is actually progressing pretty decently. But he thought he was going to be with Derek Carr in Las Vegas. Seemed like a good situation. They used to play together. Boom. Then they get rid of Derek Carr. Now he's just at Vegas. They don't answer. They don't move fast enough to answer the quarterback spot. They try to give a couple guys a chance. Didn't really work out. Gardner Minshew, Rudolph. He had a couple guys come through there, I think. And then he goes to the Jets. trying to link back over Aaron Rodgers because he's like, okay, well, shoot, it didn't work out here. Let me get over here.
Which I understand.
I got my guy.
Yeah.
I understand. Aaron Rodgers coming the first year back off that injury. We know history proves itself. 1 year is not enough for an Achilles injury. Generally, that first year back is like a test trial year. It's still a part of recovery. You know what I'm saying? And then the following, now we see them more back to form. That's just always how history shows itself. So then that didn't work out. Right now he's back in the market. I like it for him. I think he gets down there with Stafford. He's with a guy who can throw the rock. They let Cup go, so he knows he's going to be a bona fide 1-2 guy. Him and Puka Nacua, he's going to get targets. I think it's a good move. It's a good way to Puka. It's a good way to, you know what I mean, go ahead and hopefully breeze on out towards the back end of your career. Maybe get some big playoff runs. Who knows? Depending on what they do this offseason, maybe a couple years they can make actually a run for the big show. We'll see. What else happened this week, man?
I was just about to say.
What else happened this week?
Just throw a little side situation in there. I was thinking about their running back position. I was thinking about just being creative, thinking about how things could really work out with Davante Adams being there. Do they go trade for a Christian McCaffrey?
Yeah. Buy him low. You know they're going to sell low.
You know what I mean? That's like Christian McCaffrey is dealt with a few injuries at the same time. He still got some juice left.
Because who go get that?
Obviously, the 49ers would be moving on, but there's a lot of great running backs in this draft. So they can go find them. 2 good moves, young moves is ready to go. What if there's a better situation for Christian McCaffrey over there to also complement Matthew Stafford and being even more creative on offense? He's going to just be lined up at running back. He's going to be lined up at the slot, too. He can motion out and open screens. He can do so many different things. I think that's also going to help with freeing Davante Adams about number 2. And Puka, like, that's just a lot of offensive power. That's what I'm looking at.
They say Shedeur is the best QB and Travis may be the best non-QB in the draft. How you feel about that?
I feel there's no lies told. I mean, Travis Hunter was the number 1 recruit coming out of high school. He was the number 1 player when he went to HBCU. He was the number 1 player whenever he was at Colorado in college football. I mean, I think his resume speaks for itself. He plays on both sides of the ball. He literally can run every route tree. He literally can guard any style of receiver that's out there just because his length, his ability to be able to break on passes so well, so effectively. I mean, and he can tackle too. I mean, I've seen him cause a few forced fumbles. That was the real situation of a game being a win for Colorado, a loss.
Man, I've seen that.
So, in the red zone. So that's a big deal to me. I think it's definitely true. And then I'm looking at with Shedeur. Shedor's mechanics, his mind, it's just his mind is here. A lot of other quarterbacks that's coming into the draft, their mind is about here and down, head up. That's all I'm looking at, is head up. He can read things predetermined. And on top of that, he's a big body in the pocket every single time. I also feel like mentally, he's more mentally tough than most of the quarterbacks that's in there because a lot of them will not take those hits. When you have a quarterback that's completing 73% of his passes, but at the same time, he's still getting hit the way he does, and he's still getting back up and he's delivering these passes. I'm talking about in tight windows at that. That's a big deal. That's the kind of stuff that I'm looking at that will naturally translate to the NFL. Hence why I feel like teams are trying to kind of mess up his stock a little bit to see if he can go ahead and slip on down to them. Because like I said, there's only better teams as you get further into the draft picks. 17, 18, 19, them teams was doing good at the end of the season.
Really? But they might already have a quarterback in them.
True. But the ones that's probably around like 9, 10, and 11,
yeah,
those some dangerous situations if like there was a Shedeur that's there because he can automatically put him in position to get into the playoffs. That's just being honest. I mean, some of these teams are only a quarterback away.
Yeah, and I think that said it best. He's one of those plug-and-play guys. We know what we're getting with Shedeur. He's a plug-and-play guy. It's not taking any knock off any other QB in the draft. They all have their pros and cons, but we know what we're getting with Shedeur. We understand if right now you're a win-now team and you really need a guy that has the maturity and the poise and kind of the game time experience, battle tested. I'm not saying anybody else is not battle tested, but we've just seen Shador unfortunately have to be challenged to come out of some very challenging circumstances on the football field. We've seen him deliver. And so there's no question mark there. So if you're looking at win now, well, yes, sir. I think Shador is your guy.
Yeah.
I think if you're a team and you got the 1-2 pick, you need a quarterback, and you need to win now, snag Shador. If you need a quarterback and you got a guy who can hold down your team for a couple seasons, and maybe you look at some other plays and some other quarterbacks in the league that you can develop, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't need a quarterback, you get Travis. You can put him anywhere.
Yeah, I was
Travis
like,
is a football player.
as a football player,
Literally.
as a football player, because I was looking at, I was like, man, Shador's the type where the way his talent is, I see it being kind of like IQ wise.
Yeah.
Like, and hear me out on this, because a lot of people, they don't really like this person's IQ supposedly.
Right.
Brock Purdy.
Okay.
Because I don't care how you slice the cake, for you to get San Francisco deep into the playoffs a couple seasons back, that's still a big deal. What happens if you have somebody that's, what I like to say, a little more consistent with their level of IQ building, and you put a Shador in there now? That same result can happen with Shador being a rookie. So that letting you know his value going into this draft, that if you really need a quarterback now, you go get him now. Because he's ready to actually lead you now.
Yeah.
Not just building for the future.
Yeah.
Like being realistic. But yeah,
Seriously.
when you was talking about with Travis Hunter, yeah. Travis Hunter is what I like to call your classic football player security blanket, to make sure that, one, you can put some seats in the stands.
Yeah.
Right? And you could possibly keep a coach hired, because he's making so many good dynamic plays that maybe that GM just say, well, what if we put some more pieces around him?
Right.
Because he's that good.
And let me give him another chance with those pieces. Man, yeah, that's unfortunately sometimes when you see coaches get fired before they have good pieces.
Yeah.
You know, that's when you think like, man, at least let's give us an opportunity to see a guy when he has pieces to do something with. Nah, man, I agree with everything you just said. What about Steph, man? I was sitting there watching the TV the other day, and there's a lot of talk about putting Steph in the GOAT debate, and how he compares to Michael Jordan.
Yes.
And initially, I can't even fault people, because when you first hear like Steph and Michael Jordan, you're like, what? No way. What? Because they're so two different players. But when you think about it, when you watch the game, I think about when I watch Golden State, when I watch football or basketball, the excitement that and the electricity that's coming out of that TV when you watch a Steph Curry on the court.
Yes.
And the fact that when he puts the ball in the air, you don't expect him to miss. You're almost just as surprised when he misses it than anything else. You're so used to seeing him make it. You're so used to seeing his greatness on display so consistently that you get to the point where you're not only excited to watch the game, but you're excited for the future, because you're like, this is awesome, right? It's like it's a era, it's an aura.
Yeah.
And Michael Jordan kind of had that same era or mystique. You know what I mean? You knew, like, when you watched the game, it was going to be exciting. And you knew, like, game's coming up, I'm going to buy a ticket to go because it's going to be exciting.
Yes.
I can't wait to go to the game and get a ticket for the end of the season because it's going to be exciting. Delivers. And so when I think about his delivery and his excitement and his electricity and the impact and the imprint he's made on the game is very Mike-esque. Very, very Mike-esque. And I can't say that for everybody. Other people, we can talk about their greatness, right? But then you compare him to Mike, and I think the only block is that last, like, that feeling, right? I don't know what to call it, but it's that.
Mike was like magic. And what I mean by magic is literally like, he was like a magician on the floor. Like, it was something that you just never seen. Now, what's funny about something that you just never seen, that's why I feel like Steph is in that same debate, because Steph is literally like something that you've never seen.
Never seen that.
You know, like, I think about, gotta think about my boy GOAT James for this reason.
Yeah.
You see LeBron, when I see LeBron, I see that we've seen it before. It's like, well, what are you talking about? LeBron's doing things that Michael Jordan ain't even got. He's never ever gonna get to that milestone. It's never gonna happen. But when I'm looking at the style of LeBron, I see a Dominique Wilkins and Magic Johnson.
Yep.
There's LeBron
That's a great
James.
point.
with
a great
longevity.
point.
That's just me.
It's a great point.
So I see that and I'm like, okay, that's cool. When I see Steph Curry,
Who you
I don't
feeling?
see anyone that does what he does, because you got to see not only just the threes, but the creativity of how he creates his own shot. How he's always moving with the ball or moving without the ball every single time. How he can allow to get other players involved and build so much natural confidence because of his aura and because of his selflessness on the court. That makes a big deal on his dynamic. He's won rings with and without Kevin Durant. That's also a big deal. And so, and then I'm looking at how ever since Jimmy Butler's gotten there, I'm seeing how the team is flowing so smoothly. And it's still not always about him, but whenever they need him the most, he always delivers. That's Michael Jordan. And that's why I feel like they're in the same category. Now, what's crazy about it is Steph is something that we've never seen. I also feel like respecting different eras is a big deal. But at the same time, what I'm also looking at is this. If Steph is doing what he's doing right now and they win a ring this year, Michael Jordan, Steph Curry, because of influence. Now, and not only just here, but nationally.
Yeah, man.
That's how I see it.
If he gets number 5,
Yes.